Hello everyone. Now in this 8-part series, you have been learning a lot of things about arthritis, especially on rheumatoid arthritis and axial spondyloarthritis, and how engaging in physical activities would greatly benefit people struggling with these conditions. Now in this video, I'm going to speak about barriers to exercise, which means you like to engage in your physical activity, you need to get into an exercise program, but there are certain restrictions that you're feeling, certain obstacles that you're facing, and we call them as barriers. Now we're going to see what are these barriers and how best we could break through them and overcome them, that you might have your fulfilled physical activity. In this video, we are going to identify those common misconceptions that people struggling with arthritis are having when it comes getting into their exercise program. And we are going to see how best we could avoid this misconception and change our mindset towards them. The first misconception is it hurts too much to exercise. Well, this is not altogether a misconception because people with arthritis, while they engage into physical activity, do still experience pain. But these small levels of pain are part of the symptom management, which means as they are engaging into a new physical activity, it is true that they will experience pain, but that will subside on its own. And a little pain now and then, a little ups and downs are part of the symptom management. Now, the approach that we should see here is rather than stopping the exercises entirely, because altogether avoiding physical activity has its own list of problems that could come when a person is inactive, such as cardiovascular diseases and obesity and a lot of other problems. So, understanding this, a physical therapist will be able to help you how to cope up with those pains as you're getting into a physical activity, that in a certain while that those pains would become very much normal to you, and it may not bother you as you're engaging into the physical activity because your tolerance level, your endurance level would increase eventually. The second misconception is exercise might damage my joints further. Now, is this true? Not at all, because various researchers have shown very clearly that even exercises such as high intensity exercises would greatly benefit people with arthritis. But it does matter in what pace you begin and how best you can slowly begin step by step. This is all matters. Now, in case as you do experience pain while participating in these exercises, now you need to understand that these pains at times, as I told before, may come and go, and as your tolerance level and endurance level are built up, now this do not bother you anymore. Now at the same time, if the pain is persisting, if the pain is continuous for you even in the other times of the day, now you need to understand that that particular exercise is more for you in that phase. So it would be best for you to work with your physiotherapist and see how best you could get an activity that is very much suited for your level rather than quitting the exercise altogether. So it is just a sign that that exercise is too much for you, not that your bone or your joints has been damaged. Let's see the third misconception. Exercise might cause a flag. What is a flag? Now, while you're participating in a physical activity, people who are having arthritis, now there can be ups and downs of their symptoms. Now, suddenly one day you may feel your joints more swollen and it might be more painful as you're exercising more, and suddenly the symptoms will again subside. Now this sudden acute escalation of your symptoms is called flag. Now in case if you're experiencing flag, you may also be experiencing fatigue. Now you need to understand again, you need to modify your exercise, not quit it altogether. So again, in this phase, your fitness levels and your tolerance levels are very much needed to be assessed so that a right exercise can be prescribed for your age and for your fitness level, even when you are struggling with arthritis. Now again, here is where you will need a physical therapist. You need to work with them that a particular exercise that is very much needed for you can be prescribed and you can exercise in safer levels. And the fourth misconception, exercise will make me tired. Now it is true that people who are struggling with arthritis as they engage into a physical activity, it is true that they will feel fatigue, they will feel very much tired as they are engaging in an activity. Now this is mainly because your body has not been used to engage in a physical activity And if you're starting it as a beginner, then your body needs time to adapt to that particular physical activity, the exercise program that you are engaging in. So definitely, initially you will be experiencing these signs of fatigue, which will decrease gradually as your exercise programs becomes very much regular. Now again, you do not just need a physiotherapist just at the beginning of your exercise prescription. You also need to work with them closely in the day-by-day progress, that exercises can be progressed, which will be progressed without giving you much fatigue or making you more tired. Now this is how you can progress gradually. The last misconception that we're going to see is, I personally perceive this to be very much harmful, because we see the statement here, I can't exercise regularly or I can't exercise as before. Now it is true that people who are struggling with arthritis do have their ups and downs, and we saw both the flares, a sudden escalation of their symptoms such as pain and swelling. Now amidst all these difficulties, it is true that they could not exercise regularly at times, or they could not participate in a physical activity as much as before the diagnosis of arthritis. But these things does not mean that they need to stop their physical activity or they could not engage in the physical activity or not. The reason that this particular discouragement comes in is because at times people with arthritis set their goals high when it comes to physical activity. So in trying to accomplish those goals, in trying to push themselves towards those goals, when they are not able to achieve such high goals, now this puts them in discouragement, and that does not motivate them any further. So instead of this, what could be done is, small goals could be set at a time as you're working with your physiotherapist, who will be able to guide you in making those small goals. And as you're achieving these small goals step by step, that will keep you on a motivated pace, and you will not be so easily discouraged as to stop the physical activity. Now at times we hear people saying that I'm not going for a walk every day in a week, I'm unable to exercise regularly, so why should I do even this day? Now again, this is another misconception. Now if you're able to exercise only for 3 to 4 days a week, then that's fine. You could begin where you are, and then you could slowly see how best you can increase the number of days rather than quitting it altogether. So little steps, little goals will greatly help you accomplish to get into that physical activity which you have been doing before. Let's look at the scale here. Imagine this is a scale that demonstrates your physical activity, where 0 is a situation where the person is totally inactive, and 7 is a situation where the person is highly active. Now let's take today, you are in 1 or 2. Now as you're getting into a physical activity program, now that does not mean that you need to jump altogether from 2 to 7. Now as you're engaging in this physical activity prescribed by a physiotherapist, maybe from 1 you're moving to 2 in a week, and then from 2 you're moving to 4 in another 2 weeks. Now as you're setting small goals and working towards them, you could see eventually you will be able to land up in 7, but gradually and progressively, where your symptoms are not worsening but you're getting good day by day. Physical activity is very much important again, because as you're engaging in a physical activity or exercise program, now that could stimulate certain neurotransmitters in your brain, or to simplify it, certain brain chemicals such as endorphins, which will help in your tolerance level in regards to your pain. Now as you're adapting to these neurotransmitters or these chemicals that are being secreted, now that helps you greatly, because that gives you a feel-good mood where you want to participate in your activity more and more. So we physical therapists have a great role to play when it comes to breaking these barriers and help you guide towards proper exercise, and help you to maintain that exercise and progress in that exercise, and also help you find a right balance between rest and activity, because both are needed. So the barriers can be in your home environment, in your physical activity, or those barriers can be in your workplace where you're unable to participate in certain work activity as before. And in all these phases, we physical therapists would be able to help you and guide you in breaking these barriers and keep you moving. Thank you for listening to all the videos in this series. Do join us by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.